What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. We might be witnessing the biggest woke flop in cinematic history. Now, this year alone, there's been some gigantic flops, whether it's Elemental, the Little Mermaid live action remake. There's no end in sight for people's lack of appetite for films, for beloved franchises that they used to love, no longer being denigrated and trotted out for a cash grab while simultaneously disrespecting the original fandom. We've seen this happen obviously with the Disney Star Wars movies. We've seen this happen with the all whammon Don't Need No Man Ghostbusters movie. If you don't like it, you're an ist or a phobe, and it's all your fault. Now, what's interesting to me is just how insane that all is. And what you have is a new world where this stuff just doesn't work anymore. By the way, if you use TikTok or Instagram, I'm going to leave links to my profiles in the comment section down below. If you use them, yes, I know that you don't want to use it. Zuckerberg, China, that's fine. I just port short little entertaining clips to all these platforms to try and increase my reach. Ultimately, hopefully, I'll bring everyone over to Rumble one day, but that's likely years away. So this film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, projections described as abysmal. Film could lose more than $250 million. This via Founding into Comics. The opening weekend of the box office is not looking good for Lucasfilm's upcoming film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, as projections for the film continue to fall, with one analyst claiming it could lose upwards of $250 million. Kathleen Kennedy, everybody, take a minute to leave a like for Kathleen Kennedy. I don't understand how this woman keeps failing up. She's had her fingers in the disastrous Disney Star Wars reboots. She's had her fingers in this disastrous, running out geriatric Harrison Ford just so you could hand it off to a woman, which is what they want to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. To be honest, I think most fans of Indiana Jones have been over this series. It's been a series that they really failed to reboot. They had a chance with LaBouffe and things like that, but, they've just missed their window. At the beginning of June, box office tracking website Box Office Pro predicted the film would have a domestic opening around 81 million to 111 million. And they predicted the film's entire domestic theatrical run would gross between 225 and 380 million. The outlet claimed that this estimate was due to the film receiving positive social media chatter, the film's nostalgia factor, families going to see it, and early pre-sales were respectable. However, they noted that the film also had quite a bit of competition from Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Oppenheimer. Yeah, pretty sure I'd see either one of those before I'd see this abomination. The outlet quickly started lowering its predictions on the film. Just a week later, on June 8th, their opening weekend estimates declined 17% from 76 million down to 76 and 105 million. The total domestic run declined to 211 to 350. Another week later, predictions declined again. This time, the opening weekend estimates declined another 10.5%, down to 68 to 102, with a total domestic of 211 to 325. Did not stop there. It dropped even further on June 22nd. The opening weekend estimates now range between just 68 million and 95 million. That's at the top estimate that they have is sub 100 million. They spent a fortune on this movie. Those estimates might still be high, as tracking numbers from Hollywood Reporter at the beginning of June predicted the film would only have an opening weekend between 60 and 70 million. Deadline recently shared their tracking numbers, and it lines up with Hollywood Reporter's estimates, but it's on the high end, it's even lower. On the high end, it's even lower. The outlet claims that the film is tracking for an opening weekend between 60 and 65 million. It notes that the film could have a global opening of 140. The outlet also noted that pre-sales for the film were under 6 million as of Friday last week, and noted that that was below John Wick 4 and Fast X. Well, I don't know where John Wick 4 ended up in the box office. But comparing the two seems a little optimistic. While looking at previous Indiana Jones on box office hauls, he specifically narrowed in on Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls opening of $145.7 million back in 2008. OMB Review said, "What is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny expected to make 60 to 65 million? When you especially remember that the average ticket price in 2008 versus today, it indicates how many more tickets Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull made versus Dial of Destiny's projected to make domestically. You can kind of already see this movie is in a huge amount of trouble." Now, here's the problem, he explained. Remember, the film is set to open to 140 million. At 140 million opening weekend, knowing historically the vast majority of movies on average make about a third of their entire box office globally in the opening weekend, if it indeed holds for this movie, guess where you would end up? That will be roughly 400 million to 420, maybe 450 max. So that's right now. Early estimates the film is expected to make worldwide between 400 and 450 million. If that number comes in lower, then obviously the total estimate will come in lower too. If higher, then it'll be higher. He then noted, this is a far cry from the 737 to 885 million it would need simply to break even. I mean, these numbers would show that they're potentially losing, they could potentially lose $300 million. $300 million. After doing some calculations, the film does indeed get to 400 million in the worldwide box office. It would suffer between 200 and 260 million dollars in losses. OMB Reviews then declared this movie is pretty much a massive flop, and these numbers indeed end up holding. You'll actually notice that it will bring in the total overall, the total loss of the movies in 2023 from Disney to over $900 million, and it's only June. The best case scenario for Disney would be $888 million. Think about all the movies Disney has released that has lost money. Little Mermaid, Elemental, which is Pixar, and basically cemented the end of Pixar. Little Mermaid, let's say maybe broke even. Lightyear lost money. All right. Anything that you attach, feminist to, this kind of stuff. The spoilers from this movie, obviously terrible. You see, I don't know if tank is the right word to use for now. This is going to be very, very bad. The whole de-aging thing, I don't like that. It's not for me. You see here just a month ago from Christian Toto, reviews confirm woke fears about Indy's Dial of Destiny. Kane's premiere depicts soggy prequel or sequel brimming with female empowerment. It's woke, users cried, citing early snippets, test screening, and rumors and other minutia. Co-star Phoebe Waller-Bridge of Fleabag fame is the new Indy, they cried, supplanting Harrison Ford's beloved hero to appease Hollywood's female empowerment mandate. Except nobody had actually seen the finished film to confirm those rumors, and the director, James Mangold, indirectly refuted the film's replacement theory. However, that changed this week. So Mangold lied. I remember when he was melting down on Twitter. The sequel's Cannes Film Festival premiere allowed select film critics to screen the movie. Dial of Destiny boasts a limp 43% rotten review score on Rotten Tomatoes. And the critical review, the BBC called the film gloomy and depressing, but that's not the critical takeaway from the pan. Dial of Destiny has the air of a film passing the torch, or whip, to the new generation. But it does all this in an even gloomier fashion than The Force Awakens did. I'm not sure how many fans want to see Indiana Jones as a broken, helpless old man who cowers in the corner while his patronizing goddaughter takes the lead. But that's what we're given, and it's as bleak as it sounds. It's snuck back up to 66 now that more people have seen it. It's in theaters this weekend, so it's possible. A lot of these critics are, in my opinion, they're more worried about giving the correct review scores to the correct message as opposed to actually reviewing the films. Variety confirms what many suspected about the belated sequel. It's a vehicle for Disney Inc. to replace Ford's Indy with Waller-Bridge. So it feels like the film is setting her up to become the new Indiana Jones. I wouldn't bet the farm on that happening. Others feared Waller-Bridge's character would be Hollywood's latest Mary Sue figure, a flawless heroine lacking the shades of gray that make heroes pop off the screen. Think both Rey and Rose Tico from recent Star Wars episodes. Here's what the Hollywood Reporter wrote, confirming those fears. Waller-Bridge makes Helena quick with a wisecrack, handy with her fists, and a demon behind the wheel. And as is de rigueur, whatever, in these less restrictively gender-coded times, she's unflappably resourced, never helpless. She's a Mary Sue, of course. This movie will not be receiving my money. I suspect many indie fans will be 1,000% out on out on this, and I just couldn't be any less surprised. If you use TikTok or Instagram, please do follow me at the links in the description and pin comment down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.